Hi everyone, I apologize that this part of the video got cut off in my previous video, so I did want to redo just this piece in case you felt like you could use a different, another example. So again, we were graphing piecewise functions, and this time instead of using the tables, we were just kind of using what we already know about certain functions. So the first thing I'm noticing with this one is that I actually have three pieces. So the first thing I want to do is locate those breaking points. And so I know that I'm kind of breaking at 1, and then I'm going to have another one at 3. So just like before, I'm going to just kind of sketch in, and it's pretty rough, but just so I can see, sketch in those breaking points. And so I know where I have these vertical lines, that should be breaking up my different functions. So let's look at the first piece. My first function is f of x equals x squared minus 1 for x less than 1. Now, hopefully by now, we all recognize that x squared is just giving us a parabola. And I know instead of being centered at the origin, this one's just been shifted down 1. So using that, I can pretty quickly come up with some points here to get this plotted. So what would have been at 0, 0 is now going to be at 0, negative 1. And we could kind of use the idea of using the table, but do that in our head. If I plug x as 0, 0 squared is 0 minus 1 is going to give me a negative 1. And then I know I'm going to have a point here. Now, since it's x less than 1, I need to make that an open circle. Now, if I have x is equal to negative 1, negative 1 squared is a positive 1, minus 1 is 0. And I'm going to do one other point here. X is negative 2, so negative 2 squared is a positive 4, minus 1 is going to give me 3. And so now I've kind of got the shape of that parabola. So it's going to look, if I can curve that, like this. So there's my first piece. Now, for the middle part here, f of x equals 4, that's just a constant function. So that's going to give me a horizontal line. So this piece is pretty straightforward. I just have to be careful. Since I'm less than or equal to, greater than or equal to 1, at x equals 1, I'm going to put a closed circle for 4. At 3, since I'm strictly less than, that has to be an open circle at 3, but everywhere else in between, that's just equal to 4. Now, for my last piece, I have the square root function here, which we know, hopefully, looks like this. And what usually would be at the origin, it's just shifted up 1. Now, this is only for x is greater than 3. So let's see, if I kind of think of plugging in 3, I have the square root of 3, which is not really a nice number there, right? We know it has to be less than, let's see, if it's 3, square root of 3 has to be less than 2, right? Because 2 squared would be 4. So we're at 1 point something. So if I add 1, we're going to be at 2 point something. Now obviously we're not looking for exact here, we just need an estimate. So I'm going to put an open circle here. Now I can plug in some points that work a little more nicely. For x is 4, I know the square root of 4 is 2, plus 1 gives me 3. Now the next x I'm probably going to choose is 9, because that's a perfect square. Square root of 9 is 3 plus 1 gives me 4. And now I can see I have made that shape that I was expecting, and there's my piecewise function. So again, I apologize that this got cut off. But hopefully we're feeling pretty good about piecewise functions, and you guys are going to get a chance to do some work with this pretty quickly when we're back in school this week. Enjoy the weekend, and I'll be seeing you all soon.